Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Scott. This is my wife Candace, aka Candy. And I don't know if you saw from the last video where we left off. We're just gonna continue on from there. And basically, where we left off was we got married, and I decided to live permanently in the U.S. So there's a couple steps that comes with that, and we're both going to share how that goes.
I thought you were gonna share,
Well,
and I was just gonna chime in.
well, we could do both. We could do that both. We could do that both. So, with my experience, what we were doing is that we were getting a marriage green card. That's basically what it is. So there's different types of green cards that you could get, but what the ones that I was applying for was a marriage green card, because what that does is that allows me to get a social security, allow me to be able to work in the U.S. And there are 3 steps in the process of doing that. So one of the main steps is establishing the marriage, and that form we have to file was a I-130, and then there's applying for the green card, and that's basically a form called a I-40, I-485, and then you have to apply for. Once you apply for the green card, the 3rd step is the interview process, where you have to go in front of someone and basically explain your marriage.
That interview was to get a green card.
Well, to get confirmed for the green card.
Yeah,
we have to pass
a permanent resident.
A permanent, right, for the green
card.
card, right? So we have to, once we pass that interview stage, then they would send me out the green card. But the first process, that step was literally applying for that form, which I said was the I-130 form. And we had to basically send in some paperwork for that. So while going through the process, I was speaking to a family member of mine, and they said they know a lawyer who could help us and get the paperwork pushed through for us. So we initially started off with this lawyer, and I guess, what do we initially paid? Like $2,500?
Yeah, I think it was like 2,000.
Right, to get the process started with a lawyer. Now, for those who don't know, working with a lawyer, because we didn't know much about it at the time, it is expensive. So we paid the initial payment for the lawyer to get it done.
But the initial payment was really for the paperwork.
To get the initial paperwork started.
Because the amount for the paperwork is in that ballpark figure. I think it's like $1,500 or something.
Right.
It's in that ballpark. So all the money that we paid initially was to file the paperwork.
Okay.
With that lawyer.
With the lawyer.
Right.
And then, just, thinking about it, is like, hey, why do I have to pay someone to do this for me when we could technically research it and get it done ourselves? And we had nothing but time. So one day I was like on Church Avenue. We're living in Brooklyn. This place is like an office place on the corner. And basically they had a sign, assist with green card and immigration stuff.
Immigration.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, let me go check it out. So
sorry.
So I went in, check it out, and then I, told Candace, I was like, hey, let's go check this place out. We came back together, and I guess you could share what happened with that part.
Okay, so we went to a lawyer's office, and basically what they do at this office is they basically file your paperwork for you, basically pro bono work. So they just basically set you up and ship the information off. So what we had to do was, I totally forgot her name, but she was very, very lovely.
Yeah, she was amazing.
She basically asked me for all the information that she needed, and I in turn went and got all this paperwork. She needed like tax return paperwork and all these different type of things. So I went and got all the paperwork
Our
that
marriage
she asked, the marriage
certificate. Yeah.
certificate. I went and got all the paperwork that she asked me for, and basically she's basically creating like
A
a
portfolio.
booklet, a portfolio for us, and then she's gonna mail that off to file for the green card. So that's what.
So we basically did that step. So we did one step with the first lawyer. That lawyer was in Manhattan, so we still have to go to Manhattan to deal with him. We living in Brooklyn, going into Manhattan, we had to commute. So we found this place in Brooklyn that was able to do it for us, and we started that process there.
Which was way cheaper.
Which was way cheaper.
They literally only charged us like $200.
Right.
Just
from
to
2000 to 200.
set up the paperwork and everything. This guy was, I think the whole total fee with this guy was like $5,000 to $7,000.
Yeah.
And all we had to do was pay this lady $200, and she created the portfolio for us and mailed it in. So at that point, when she mailed it in, we're basically waiting now to hear back for an interview date.
Right. So within that process being done, what you get is that you get a date to get your social security card, and you basically getting a card to be able to work within that period that you're basically waiting for the green card, so you could work. So basically, I had to go for an interview for that as well, which is something like called a biometrics interview, where I had to get scanned, fingerprint scanned, eye scan, and they have to take all my information. And then I got a United States employment card, which looked like this. And with this card, basically, I'm able to work and legally in the US. And I got my social. Can't really show you it, numbers, but social. So that process was done. The next process we were basically waiting for is basically the interview for us as a family to go in front of this person to basically say, hey, it's okay.
I can tell you're totally losing your train of thought right now.
Kind of, but
I can tell.
So basically,
we're waiting for the green card interview at this point.
Right.
So fast forward, this green card interview rolls around.
Right.
So we're going to the green card interview for him to become a permanent resident. Right. Okay? Not a citizen yet. At this point, he's going to become a permanent resident and get his green card. So we went to the interview. At this point, Christian is already born. A baby.
Yeah.
And all three of us went to this interview, and you basically have to convince this person that this is a real relationship. Right. Even though yes, we got married, but you have to prove to them this is like a real relationship.
And I'm not married for a green card.
And they do have the portfolio that was sent
in front of them. Yeah.
With them. So they basically ask you some basic questions. I couldn't tell you what those questions were at this point. I don't remember, but I do remember like Christian
was crying.
He was crying because he had like a bowel movement, and like I had to like change his diaper in the room with this guy right in the middle of this interview.
No, but...
And I think, and like I was telling Scotty, like, come on, pass me the wipes, and and the guy is sitting across from us while we're doing all of this. So I feel like at that point, I think we kind of like validated that this is a real thing that was going on, and like he didn't really need to see anything else because he didn't even ask us any questions after that.
It's like one question he asked us.
Yeah, like he didn't really ask us anything after that because we were like already like arguing about this diaper change that was going on in front of this guy.
She's like, this had to be a real relationship.
So it has to be a real relationship. So
we told him messed up. We told him messed up.
Needless to say, he got approved. Everything was smooth sailing from then. And as you know, this process, the next step would be to become a citizen.
So
but
now
you can't do it right away. You have to wait how many years?
3 years.
Minimum
3 years.
Okay, so you have to wait minimum 3 years to become a citizen after you get your permanent resident.
Permanent green card.
Yeah.
And that's if there's different ways of applying for your green card. The minimum of 3 years is if you applied
as a
as a
spousal,
spousal
like
green card, like a
marriage.
marriage green card.
Yeah.
So that's that part. So fast forward, um, we were looking to move out of New York. We were looking to get a house, so we decided to move to Florida, and we bought a house in Florida. And hey, I got a green card. Now, with the green card, you have to renew it. It's a process. You have to renew it, and at that point, it becomes a little what?
It's very tedious.
Tedious.
As far as having to keep renewing to get a,
Right.
renewing your green card.
Right.
And
So she
what
was
kind
getting
of
on
did
my
it
back.
for us,
Yeah.
what kind of really solidified it for me, where I was like, I am not going through this, was because we travel a lot.
Yeah.
We would always have to stop. Because,
So-
he would get the X on the
So let me,
the entry form.
right.
And he'd have to go to a CBP officer. He has to get his fingerprints done.
Right.
And they have to take your photo. And they have to do
Biometrics,
all
which is
these
basically
biometrics every time you come back into the country. And I just want to be in and out of immigration. I don't want to be waiting for him to do no fingerprints or none of that other yada, yada, yada.
So what, this is basic.
So we made the decision that
Can I tell you why
we're going to go
this
for
decision
the
happened?
citizen. No, because you're just going to be rambling.
No, this is a serious stuff. Okay.
I already said it.
I know, but I'm going to tell you what happened really quickly. So I forgot my green card in New York. We flew from Florida to New York. I forgot it in New York. And we went to Barbados Carnival, came back from Krapover back to New York. When coming back, I'm looking for the green card. I didn't have it. I left it in New York, in the house in New York. And basically, they pulled me into this secondary room now, where there's like, why did you forget the green card? But I had a stamp in my passport that allowed me to still come into the US. And I explained to them, this is what happened, why I don't have the green card. After that day, she had to wait like 30, 40 minutes. After that day, she was like, that's it. You need to go get your US passport and become a US citizen. I'm done with it. Okay, go ahead.
You really just wanted to tell that story, didn't you?
She was pissed. She was pissed.
They really didn't need to hear that story. But anyway, so luckily the immigration office is very close to where we live here in Florida.
Yeah.
Like literally, I think like a 3-minute drive.
Right.
If so
Up
much.
the road, yeah.
So we filed the paperwork for him to get his citizenship.
I think that's called a N-400 form. N-400 form for the citizenship, yeah.
So we filed the paperwork, and then he received information for another interview.
Right.
And he has to take a test.
So I got a booklet like this.
They give you a booklet that you have to study.
To go and basically study American history, and you get questions on it and stuff like that. And so the process, that's the next, you gotta wait. Everything is a process, and you pay everything along the lines. So long story short, I got it. I passed. I had to take the oath. All right. And then I got this. Congratulations, you're a U.S. citizen now. And you would get a paperwork like this, that you're a citizen. And after that, you have to go ahead now and file this paperwork for a U.S. passport, where you could go and do that at you
could get it at the post office.
Post office,
You can do it at the post office.
Any post
they have the forms at the post office.
You can do it.
Where you can file it there.
It takes about 4 to 6 weeks for them to send you back. You have to fill out all the paperwork, send in all the information that you got.
The same as you do if you were a regular American signing up for a passport.
Right.
It's the same thing.
And then basically this comes.
U.S. passport.
Boom, in the mail. 6 weeks, about 4 to 6 weeks after.
So he had to basically turn in his green card.
Yeah.
Because it's null and void, and now he has a U.S. passport.
Got a U.S. passport.
And there you go.
No more issues.
And that's all for today. We wanted this to be a very short and sweet and direct to the point video. Anything else you have to say, Scott?
Yeah, if you need any information about applying for a green card or anything along those lines in the forms, my suggestion is always try to research it on your own. YouTube is your best friend. Google is your best friend. As soon as you put in green card information, all the information comes
You
up in all
literally
the
can do
forms
all these things by
yourself. So you don't need to pay anybody to do it. Just follow the guidelines in the process, and you can as well get through it. I'm rocking today, as you can see, my Trinidadian badge, home of Calypso, and I also got my U.S. flag here on the side. So I'm both a proud Trinidadian and a proud American. What else does this say?
All right, signing off.
Bye.
Bye.